Hey, it's John, True Vintage Guitar. This is from 1954. This is the Gibson Les Paul model, the Goldtop. This is the one from the Guitar Safari from San Diego, so you've already seen a little bit of it, but you haven't heard it yet until now. But if you are following on Instagram, that's at True Vintage Guitar, then you probably even saw that second Goldtop that I picked up like a week after I picked up this one. And it was even in my own state. It was in the city of Arab in Alabama. That's right, it's pronounced Arab. Go look it up. I don't know why. But yeah, so if you're following on Instagram, you've seen both of those. Really hope to get that second one up on here soon. It was a 55, originally a wrap tail Goldtop. And it was actually all gold. So gold on the back and gold on the back of the neck as well. But it looks like it got sent back to the factory in the late 1960s. Got refinished to, the 68, 69 style gold top finish and natural back and back of the neck. So you can still see the gold in the cavities. They also did a Tune-O-Matic bridge and a Bigsby B5. But anyway, that's an awesome guitar, so go check out at True Vintage Guitar on Instagram to see that one. Follow for live guitar safaris and that kind of stuff. Hopefully I'll get that 55 factory update in the late 1960s here on YouTube, so you can hear that one as well eventually. But first I'm going to enjoy both of these. This one's from 1954. This is the Gibson Les Paul model, the Goldtop. So if you watched that Guitar Safari video to San Diego, California, you probably know the story on this one. I bought it from the grandson of the original owner. At least that's what we were told. We don't have any documentation. But yeah, the guitar's been in the family for as long as the son and the grandson know of. The original owner passed in 1998. So they've held on to the guitar this whole time. And I was finally able to buy it from them after 6 months of kind of chatting back and forth and talking values and that kind of stuff. But appears to be a really nice example of a 54 Gibson Les Paul model. So we've got the wrap tail, we've got the speed style knobs, we've got a really great neck angle. You can see the height of the bridge there. Yeah, it's 8 pounds, 14 ounces. So that's, kind of medium weight, maybe a little bit on the heavier side for a 50s Les Paul. But usually, heavy would be above 9 pounds for like a Goldtop like this. So it's got no prior breaks or repairs, no finish work, thing like that. It's an excellent example. But let's chat neck dimensions for a minute. So Gibson standardized the 1 11/16 inch nut width in about 1947. And they kept that nut width all the way up until 1965. That's when they decreased to the 1 9/16 inch. So as far as nut width, that's this dimension here. We've got, what would be considered a wide nut, 1 11/16 inch. The profile is it's definitely like a C shape, but it's kind of flirting with wanting to be a V, like it definitely has the kind of thinner shoulders. But I would not describe it as a V neck. I mean, it's kind of a want to be V C neck. The dimension this way is 91 hundredths of an inch. So that's the neck depth at the first fret. And I'll show you how I measure that. So this is the style digital caliper that I use to measure that dimension. You don't have to remove the strings or anything. Just kind of pop it on like this. Don't have to worry about damaging any finish or anything like that. It's real quick, very accurate. I'll link to this digital caliper down in the description so you can pick one up. I see a lot of people out there measuring neck dimensions with these. Don't do that. Not only are they not very accurate, you have to remove the strings, takes too long, and this kind of sharp metal point here can mar up the finish. So yeah, I don't recommend these. Pick up this one, link to Amazon in the bio. So 91 hundredths of an inch at the neck depth at the first fret, and then exactly about an inch at the 12th fret. So nice full feeling, 50s neck. A 60s neck would be about 80 hundredths of an inch up to 90. So we've got a good full feeling, kind of wants to be V, but definitely C neck. Okay, let's talk books again. This is The Early Years, The Les Paul Legacy by Rob Lawrence. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about this book, but I really do love this book. There is so much great information about 50s and early 60s Les Pauls. Everything from the junior TV model, special Les Paul model, or regular or standard, and the custom as well, coming out in 1953. But if you turn to page 94, you'll see a kind of cool thing that they mention in this book, and that also kind of shows up on this 54 Les Paul Goldtop, and that is the swirled pickup cover. So it's a cream pickup cover, but if you kind of look closely, you can see it's kind of, they describe it as multicolored. It's kind of multi-toned, from lighter to darker cream color. But you can definitely see it's kind of textured in that plastic cover. That's factory original. Apparently shows up in 53, 54. So yeah, Rob Lawrence mentions it on page 94. You can also see another example of an awesome 54 Goldtop that's like 30 or 40 serial numbers away from this one. And they have the same kind of three-piece top that you can barely see underneath the gold finish. But yeah, you can see a seam here and a seam here. And on that Goldtop on page 94, you can see kind of the same thing. So I remember seeing, these covers and the pictures from the seller and thinking, wow, there's something interesting about those, but I don't really know what it is. And then as I was reading through this book here, I spotted it and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is why you got to pick up a book like this, because there's awesome information there that you can't pick up Goldtops every day, or at least I can't. It's kind of hard to get some experience with them. But if you're reading about them in this book, then you can definitely kind of grow your knowledge base for them and be able to look out for stuff like that. So yeah, if you don't want to drop 5 figures cash on a vintage Gibson Les Paul Goldtop, you can drop, I don't know, 40 or 60 bucks on this book and get to kind of enjoy the history and, all the neat information about vintage Gibson Les Pauls. So yeah, pick up a book. I think they're great. I think you're going to dig it. There's a link down below in the description. So when I started posting about this guitar on Instagram, I got a lot of questions about the neck pitch or the neck angle. And the short answer is, yeah, the neck pitch and angle is excellent on this guitar. But I think I know why they're asking that question, and that's because in 1952, when Gibson debuted the Les Paul Goldtop, or Les Paul model, they were using the combination trapeze, tailpiece, and bridge that Les Paul himself designed in the 1940s or so. But through some kind of communication error, the engineers at Gibson pitched the neck a little bit too shallow, which brought the strings kind of closer to the top, which meant that if you wanted to play with proper action, you had to wrap the strings underneath the tailpiece instead of on top, like this one. That meant you couldn't really palm mute. So, if you get like a 52 or early 53 Les Paul with that kind of neck pitch, sometimes people will kind of modify it to kind of bring the action down, but it can be kind of tough to play. So this is from 1954. That's way after they fixed the neck pitch, and you can kind of see on this one, it actually has a pretty tall bridge. And that was another thing I was going to mention on these guitars, is that from 1953 to 1955, the Goldtop, the Les Paul model, had a wrap tail bridge, and then in 55 they updated it to the Tune-o-matic and stop bar bridge. But some of the 53 to through 55 wrap tail guitars have a tendency for the bridge to kind of lean forward a little bit, and that's because the bridge posts they were using were a little bit shallow. The bushing and the bridge posts were actually shorter than what they used on 56 and later, like juniors and specials and TV models and stuff. They updated that because, under string tension for a long time, sometimes these kind of bridge posts can lean forward a little bit. You can kind of see on this guitar, it's really not an issue. I'm trying to see if you can focus on that. We really don't have any kind of significant post lean on this guitar. Plays great, sounds great. It's a really great example. It really didn't require that much after I got it, just cleaning and setup. So if you want to see more of this guitar, there's a link to my website in the description. There's over 70 pictures of this one inside and out. I'm showing the neck pickup cavity. I'm showing the pickup itself, the bobbin, the base plate. I'm showing the control cavity. So yeah, if you want to really see what these look like inside and out, check out that link. It's also going to be available for sale, so if you're looking for a good Goldtop, I think this could be a really great contender for you. So check out this 54 Goldtop in the link below. thanks a lot for watching this video about the 54 Gibson Les Paul Goldtop. I'm planning to be bringing these videos weekly, so hit subscribe if you like vintage guitars. I'm really grateful if you do that. Really inspires me to keep going and keep making these videos. I'm excited to bring that kind of 55 factory update to 68. Hopefully, maybe next week. Maybe I'll space it out a little bit because I've got some other cool guitars coming in. Got an early 70s Telecaster original blonde finish. Got a 68 Jaguar coming in, sunburst finish. So got a lot of cool electric guitars to post. So if you do hit subscribe, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And my name is John. My website is called TrueVintageGuitar.com. So check that out if you got a minute. Thank you.